It's the one only Despotic. Bring you guys another gameplay commentary. This is Elder Scrolls Online, and this commentary might be a bit disheartening to a few people, but I think it's necessary because there's this pervasive mindset of equality and equity without really understanding like what those things mean. So first of all, there are a lot of people who are just disingenuous about the term balance, and they use this term balance to kind of to push an agenda of like, hey, this person is using a weapon that overperforms, like maelstrom weapons, and that's primarily the reason why you're doing so well with a particular class, or this person is using this, this gear, and it, everyone should be in an equal playing field, because that really it doesn't advocate for balance, right? Like someone mentioned to me, sent me a message that, hey, I'm using maelstrom weapons. Maybe I should use something else, and then that should be a better challenge. Or, I'm using heavy armor, and that doesn't really quantify skill, right? And these would be the same people that would see like 5 or 6 people beating on me, and I say, hey, I'm using this because I have to be competitive with, because I'm a solo player, and it's like 5 or 6 or 7 people fighting me. Their response would be, it's an MMO. It's made for group play. You're not playing it the way it should be played. Do you see what just happened? They're completely okay with the mindset that it's an MMO, so therefore it completely negates me being a solo player. To them, me having maelstrom weapons or using heavy armor or using line of sight, those are things that are damaging to the game. But a group of players ganging up on a solo player, that's as it's intended. It's a group game, it's an MMO, and that's the way it should be. Now, apply that same logic to the real world, right? So, I don't really like to talk too much about my personal life, and my professional life. But I have a bachelor's, I have a master's, and I'm working on a PhD. All right? Would you say to me, well, Sion, you earned that, and therefore you have an unfair advantage on certain options, and there's the only reason you have that job, or you had an option to apply to that job, is because you have a degree, or you have a master's degree? Or would anyone in their right mind say that? Would anyone in their right mind like utter or even begin to make that statement? Oh, because you have this degree, you have an unfair advantage on getting a particular job. No one would say that. It would make absolutely no sense. All right. The fact that I earned something allows me to have better options. The fact that I earned something allows me to make decisions that others might not necessarily have that option to. Right? I invested time, right, to earn something. And here's the issue that a lot of people don't understand. And I'll get back to the whole notion of balance. It's not the reward. It's not what you've earned. It's the journey. It's what you gained during that time. Right? I learned a lot of things when I was going to school. I learned a lot, like how to critical think, how to best formulate arguments, how to complete certain things, in an efficient and quality content. I learned all of those things. I learned how to think on the fly. I learned how best to study. Like, what's my optimum studying practices. I learned all of those things. I learned how to differentiate between goods, bads, strengths, weaknesses. All of those things I learned, and I got the degree. Right? I learned how to overcome obstacles. And this is a point that I think we miss out on. There's a reason why, like, the United States is now focusing on STEM, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math. That's why they're focusing on STEM now, because in the past, the notion of, like, everyone gets an A. There's no such thing as second place. If you got second place, you're just as good as the person who got first place. And that notion is really creating an issue, because no one is investing their time into these, like, science courses, and America's falling behind. So that's why they have this STEM initiative. Some of you might not know this because you might not live in America, but that's what we've gotten to now, where imagine if sports said, hey, because you can run faster, you could jump higher, you're a little bit taller than me, you're a little bit stronger, you're a little bit faster. Those things don't matter. It's just, let's have everyone on a level playing field. Now, of course, this option works for other things, right? Just human rights, and people should not have an unfair advantage in terms of, hey, you got a head start over me, so there's no way for you to catch up. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, create that option where someone has a chance to catch up and be able to compete with you. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, do not just give it to a person and then say, hey, go ahead and fight. No, that makes absolutely no sense, because they don't know the value of something, right? And if you don't know the value of something because you haven't earned it, you neglect it, and you don't know how to use it. And 9 times out of 10, if you gave people Maelstrom equivalent weapons, right, and the people who earned those Maelstrom weapons, nine times out of 10, those people who earned the weapons would beat them. All right. So my point is, oftentimes there's always this notion of, like, let's have balance by way of getting rid of earned content, and let's have everyone in an equal playing field. Let's make crafted weapons up to those weapons that you need to earn. I'm not in favor of that. I think if I earn something, I should have better options than you. That's the way I think it should be, right? And just let's go back to my initial kind of statement. Like, these players who use balance to be disingenuous, like, they use balance to that's their overall model in the game. Well, balance is the key to everything, and I honestly don't think it's a matter of balance, because balance is something that's fleeting. What you want to have is diversity. You want to have a mixture of different types of gameplay. You want a certain number of people playing a certain build, a certain number of people playing a certain class. That, to me, gets the closest to balance. But when you get to the point of, like, negating earned content, then it becomes problematic. Anyway, it's the one only Despotic. Deuces.